Have a fun video you'd like to see featured on NCW Life? Email us at newsphotos@ncwlife.com.
It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCW Life Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And boy, things cleared out nicely, didn't they? About 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock this afternoon is when our cloud inversion moved away, and we enjoyed some beautiful blue skies as we look down from our Sky-Fi tower at Wenatchee Heights. And what we expect this weekend, tomorrow and through your Super Bowl weekend, very nice weather. We'll see partly cloudy skies with warmer temperatures, precipitation mainly in Idaho, also mainly along the Cascade Crest. We have just a slight chance for a shower or two on Super Bowl Sunday, but what that means with warmer temperatures and a lot of snow melt is possible mud and rock slides, also a lot of runoff and some rising creeks and streams around our area, and we'll keep you posted on that as we make our way through next week. But all in all, this weekend looks fantastic. We'll tell you more about that coming up a little bit later. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. An East Wenatchee woman is in dire need of a kidney donor, and the Community Foundation of North Central Washington is now taking applications for grant money. But first, we begin tonight. An official with Columbia Valley Community Health expresses concerns about future loss of services if federal funding is cut. Steve Hare reports.
The Community Health Center Fund is a key source of funding for community health centers around the country. Created as part of the Affordable Care Act, it expired in September but has since been extended through the end of March. But its future remains uncertain under the current Trump administration. CVCH CEO David Olson tells NCW Life News that the federal money accounts for 20% of the clinic's annual funding, totaling about $8 million. But he stresses that the clinic is not threatened with closure if the funds are not forthcoming.
We will never turn anybody away. But for instance, one of the things we've tried to do in the last couple of years is really expand adult dental services. That frankly loses money. The question could be, how many adults could we take care of in terms of dental needs? We are not required by law to offer that, but we know there's a need in the community. So we're going to do what we can to do that. But we might have to take a look at specific things and say, can we afford to do adult dental? Can we afford to have a pharmacy where patients actually pay much less than they would someplace else?
Olson says Washington's congressional delegation supports continued funding of the Health Center Fund, and he says he plans to lobby for help when he travels to Washington, D.C. next week. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
A sister duo from East Wenatchee are doing whatever they can for one sister to save the other. Patsy Wilson is suffering from an autoimmune disease that attacked her kidneys. She's in dire need of a donor.
I have a kidney disease. It was an autoimmune, and it attacked my kidneys. Well, my kidneys have been going bad for the last probably 10, 15 years. But the last couple of years, I had to go on dialysis because they just quit working altogether. It's 3 times a week I go to dialysis for 4 hours. And I'm really tired after I get out of there.
Patsy's blood type is type OH, and she needs a live donor. She's 2 years down the list for a deceased donor. Her sister, Gayleen R. Ellen, is busy getting the word out to find a match.
If people want to donate, they have to go to the website to www.livingdonorvm.org. That's at Virginia Mason. It's a questionnaire. It's pretty extensive to see if they can pass to the first steps of becoming a donor. If you can pass that part of it, then it'll go to the donor team. They'll contact you, and it's a process. If she can't get a type O kidney. There's also the paired exchange program. So it doesn't automatically have to be a type O kidney for her. There can be an A or a B blood type also. And that means that she would still get a kidney. It means that kidney could go to another person and that another kidney would come to her still. We're hoping and praying that someone will be able to watch this and come forward to be tested and donate a kidney to her. We're going to make it. Yep. She's lost too many people in her life, and I'm not going to lose her.
Again, the website to see if you would be a good match is www.livingdonorvm.org. The Community Foundation of North Central Washington is now accepting applications for a $50,000 endowment grant to support one nonprofit organization in Chelan, Douglas, or Okanagan counties. The ideal candidate is a well-established, extraordinary organization making a significant impact on the community it serves. Excuse me, the organization must have experienced leadership at both the board and staff level who will use the endowment grant to move the organization to the next level of expertise. Previous recipients include Methow Trails, Numerica Performing Arts Center, and the Children's Home Society of Wenatchee. The application is now open and is due on May 1st of this year. The award will be announced and dispersed in September. For more information on eligibility requirements, guidelines, and to apply, visit www.cfncw.org. Well, if you'd like to get to know the 10 Apple Blossom finalists vying for this year's royalty, you have a chance to do so this Saturday. Beginning at 10:30 a.m., all 10 finalists will be handing out Crunch Pack apple slices at Fred Meyer, Costco, Wenatchee Valley Mall, downtown Wenatchee, and at Pybus Market. The Apple Blossom Royalty Selection Pageant is Saturday, February 10th, with live coverage right here on the NCW Life channel. Crunch Pack is the sponsor for the new Washington State Apple Blossom app. Be sure to download the app and vote for most original speech during this year's royalty selection pageant. Coming up next, what is the future of Alcoa Wenatchee Works? And the annual Polar Plunge is this weekend to raise money for Special Olympics. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Evening News.
My name's Robert Duff. Current and previous occupation is architect, engineer, and lawyer. Grew up here in Washington, born in Moses Lake. When I first came to CVCH, was looking for a place to get some dental work done. And I was really impressed with the people at the counter. I mean, they were just on top of it. It only took her like 15 minutes to do the job. I didn't feel anything. The technology is so great, you don't even realize you're at the dentist. These people are so professional. I would have any one of these people in my home for dinner. These people are family.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
Welcome back. In other news, while the pot lines at the Alcoa Wenatchee Works remain idle, discussions are continuing on the local level concerning the local smelter's future. 400 employees were laid off when production was curtailed in 2016. The company announced in January that there has been no decision yet to restart. In the meantime, a local working group continues to meet to discuss how the local economy deals with the situation. Tracy Yunt with the Chelan County PUD facilitated the most recent meeting held earlier this week.
We outlined what we thought were some options going forward that Alcoa is going to have to be making a decision on restarting, shutting down the plant, or deferring the payment that they are planning to or would need to pay under the current contract. And what we heard from the community was there's kind of a spread of interest on any of those. Everybody is very interested in restarting the plant and getting that going. Some folks thought that waiting again, giving them another window of opportunity to think about restarting, some folks supported that. And other folks thought it might just be time to move on. If they don't restart, now might be the time to say, all right, let's shut it down and figure out something else for that property and our community. So good input from the community, good input for the PUD to be thinking about as we start our discussions with Alcoa.
Alcoa is still under contract with the PUD for electrical power. If the plant closes, PUD would be obligated, I should say Alcoa would be obligated to pay the PUD $62 million to terminate that contract. Well, if you're a fan of gastrointestinal fun, Pybus Market is the place to be this weekend for the 9th annual Coho 101 Chili Cook-Off. Dan Longauger, Chili Cook-Off Coordinator, recently joined Dan Kuntz on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley and says the event is not only a great way to showcase local chefs, it's also a fun community event.
Community event. It's all about meeting our listeners and meeting at Pybus, which is what Pybus is all about, is where community meets. And it's also about showcasing these local chefs. All the participants are local restaurants. They're Wenatchee Valley chefs. And so we want to highlight both them and our listeners.
The chili cook-off goes back to before your employee here at Coho, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was at Ski Hill, started at least 9 years ago, I think. This is either the 10th year. And kind of a small grassroots thing, and yeah, it's really grown in that amount of time.
The 9th annual Coho 101 Chili Cook-Off is this Saturday at Pybus Market from noon to 1 and is free of charge. The Washington State Special Olympics Winter Games hopes to raise money this weekend with the 18th annual Polar Plunge in Wenatchee. The Saturday event at the Walla Walla Point Park Swimming Lagoon is put on by the Wenatchee City Parks and Recreation Department and includes local law enforcement. You can register starting at 10 a.m. with the plunge slated for noon. Last year's event raised over $10,000 for local Special Olympics athletes. The Winter Games will once again be held in Wenatchee in March. An event planned for Sunday morning at Mission Ridge is aimed at skiers, but anyone who recreates in the mountains this time of year will benefit. It's all about avalanche awareness.
Hi, this is Ty Pearsall with the Mission Ridge Pro Patrol. We are here to talk about an introductory avalanche awareness course that we offer free here on February 4th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Anyone that wants to attend, please look up missionridge.com under the David Pettigrew Foundation link to find more information. Remember to dress warm and bring a snack. Thank you very much.
You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's feature story. That and much more still to come right here on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Eric Grandstrom, inviting you to join us for the Kashmir Valley Bank Royalty Selection Pageant live on the NCW Life channel Saturday, February 10th, beginning at 6:30. Also on our website at ncwlife.com and on our Facebook page. Coverage brought to you by Auville Fruit, home of the Gee Whiz brand, where passion meets flavor, and Bay Equity Home Loans, your home for loans. It's the Kashmir Valley Bank Royalty Selection Pageant live on the NCW Life channel Saturday, February 10th at 6:30.
Lake Chelan mailboxes find solutions and the best price for all your shipping needs, including UPS, FedEx, and the U.S. Postal Service. We offer a variety of services including quality copies of all sizes, faxing, scanning, sending and receiving email, laminating, and notarizing. Enjoy browsing through our large selection of greeting cards. Lake Chelan mailboxes supports our military, fire victims, and our community. Come see us at the Plaza in Lake Chelan.
How about having majestic mountains, a beautiful shoreline, and 26 acres of lush walking trails be the backdrop of your special event? Lake Wenatchee YMCA Camp has cabins, meeting spaces, and a lodge with a kitchen that will accommodate large gatherings. Our staff at Lake Wenatchee YMCA Camp will work with you to ensure that your wedding, retreat, class reunion, or birthday is amazing. Reserve your day today.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Fighter Friday. Eastmont Bowlers have repeated as State 4A girls bowling champions today. The Wildcats outpaced second place Thomas Jefferson 7,797 pins to 73-69. Eastmont came into the day after Thursday's 6 individual games leading by 407 pins. The Wildcats had 4 bowlers finish in the top 10 yesterday, including Alicia Hastings 3rd, Emily Montoya 5th, Becca Main 6th, and Samantha Heinz 8th. Hastings, the Big 9 Player of the Year, averaged 188 over 6 games at Narrows Plaza at University Place. Early start for the girls today as the first of 14 Bakers was played at 8 o'clock this morning. Eastmont showed no weariness after a good Thursday, rolling a 176 and a 177 in the second. In 14 Bakers, Eastmont averaged 174.5. The lead grew by as much as 513 pins through the 8th as the Wildcats rolled a 213 in that frame. Tries it made. Thomas Jefferson girls just didn't have enough to catch Eastmont, closing the gap to 428 pins when it was all said and done. In just 5 years of existence, the Eastmont girls bowling program now boasts 2 state championships, a 3rd place finish. Wildcats have 4 Big 9 titles, 3 district titles, 1 individual state champion, and 3 Big 9 Coach of the Year recipients. Congratulations to the Wildcats. Athletic Director Russ Waterman says girls will be recognized Tuesday at halftime of the Eastmont Davis basketball games. We'll be there live with that right here on the NCW Life channel. Turning our attention to the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard from last night in girls basketball. First of all, is the 7th time this season Cashmere held an opponent to under 25 points. Downing Chelan 77-14 to wrap up the regular season. Also last night, Antioch girls flexed their muscles in Central Washington 2B play. 69-24 went over second place Pateros. Manson stopped Oroville in a low-scoring affair 29-19. Waterville Mansfield dropped one on the road at Lake Roosevelt 55-40. On the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard in boys basketball last night, Cashmere finished the regular season on a winning note. Downing Chelan 56-41. Pateros knocked off Antioch 54-46. Manson mauled Oroville 62-39. Waterville Mansfield couldn't hold a 9-point fourth quarter lead, fell at Lake Roosevelt 53-50. Turning our attention to the prep schedule for the weekend. First of all, girls basketball. Tonight, Chelan is at Natchez Valley while Cascade plays host to Okanagan at 5:45. Tomorrow, Easton at Etihad at noon. Wenatchee hosting Sunnyside at 5:45. Manson's at Liberty Bell at 6. In boys basketball this weekend, Cascade make that Chelan travels to Natchez Valley while Cascade hosts Okanagan 7:15. That's tonight. Tomorrow, Etihad and Easton tip it up at 1:30. Sunnyside and Wenatchee play at 7:30, same as that start time for Liberty Bell and Manson. District wrestling time. The 4A District 6 Championship starts today, wraps up tomorrow at West Valley for Eastmont and Wenatchee wrestlers. Meanwhile, Cascade, Cashmere, and Chelan wrestlers in Omak for the 1A District 6 Championships. That starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Also, the Big 9 District Dive prelims are today with the Swimming and Diving Championships to be settled tomorrow in Moses Lake. Season's winding down for the Wenatchee Wild. Wenatchee has 10 games left, only 2 more at home after this weekend. The Wild host Coquitlam tonight and Langley tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Thanks to Art Jetker again for joining us this morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley to give us a preview of the games coming up this weekend at the Town Toyota Center. Of course, also this weekend, it is Super Bowl Sunday. It's Super Bowl 52. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New England Patriots. Eagles are 4-point underdogs heading into Sunday's kickoff, slated for 3:30. Of course, if you want to watch the pre-game show, I think you can do that at about 6 o'clock in the morning. The game will be broadcast on NBC, and I'm hoping for Philadelphia, but I think the Patriots are going to win yet again. That's sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric, and congratulations, Eastmont Bowlers. At 7:25 a.m. Eastern Time this morning on a hill outside Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, also known as Gobbler's Knob, the seemingly immortal Phil, the same rodent who launched the tradition in 1887, looked for his shadow.
Phil! Ladies and gentlemen, Punxsutawney Phil! What do you think, buddy? Huh? We got a winter or we got a spring? Huh? Shivering. Wow. Shivering. Okay, we got it. My faithful followers, your hands and my paws are getting cold. So here is my forecast, not lead, but solid gold. I see my royal shadow, 6 more weeks of winter to go.
That prediction in spite of forecasts that called for a cloudy, shadowless morning. The Pennsylvania groundhog isn't the only weather predicting rodent in this quirky American tradition, but he is the most famous. And according to the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club, his opinion is the only one that matters. By the way, over the past 30 years, the groundhog was right 14 times and wrong 16 times. We'll be back in just a moment with the recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Another good thing about this new year to buy a new car is a lot of the new cars that are coming out, the technology is so advanced. Yeah. We've got Honda sensing on the majority of our vehicles now, which is huge for safety. There's, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in the majority of our cars now.
Heads-up display on the new Accord.
Yep, heads-up displays. Just the technology is huge right now, so it's a great time to get into a car and experience that new technology.
Are you watching me? If you're watching me and you are a business owner in North Central Washington, your potential customers could be seeing your TV commercial right now. With Solion Broadcasting, TV advertising is effective and affordable. Place your ads on the network best suited to your potential customers or get top-of-mind awareness with 16 cable networks, including NCW Life, your local TV channel. Give Solion Broadcasting a call at 888-2020 today to see how easy and affordable it is to advertise on TV.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your stoke?
Time now for a recap of our top stories tonight. An official with Columbia Valley Community Health expresses concerns about future loss of services if federal funding is cut. Steve Hare reports.
The Community Health Center Fund is a key source of funding for community health centers around the country. Created as part of the Affordable Care Act, it expired in September but has since been extended through the end of March. But its future remains uncertain under the current Trump administration. CVCH CEO David Olson tells NCW Life News that the federal money accounts for 20% of the clinic's annual funding, totaling about $8 million. But he stresses that the clinic is not threatened with closure if the funds are not forthcoming.
We will never turn anybody away. But for instance, one of the things we've tried to do in the last couple of years is really expand adult dental services. That frankly loses money. The question could be, how many adults could we take care of in terms of dental needs? We are not required by law to offer that, but we know there's a need in the community. So we're going to do what we can to do that. But we might have to take a look at specific things and say, can we afford to do adult dental? Can we afford to have a pharmacy where patients actually pay much less than they would someplace else?
Olson says Washington's congressional delegation supports continued funding of the Health Center Fund, and he says he plans to lobby for help when he travels to Washington, D.C. next week. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
The Washington State Special Olympics Winter Games hopes to raise money this weekend with the 18th annual Polar Plunge in Wenatchee. The Saturday event at Walla Walla Point Park Swimming Lagoon is put on by the Wenatchee City Parks and Recreation Department and includes local law enforcement. You can register starting at 10 a.m. with the plunge slated for noon. Last year's event raised over $10,000 for local Special Olympics athletes. The Winter Games will once again be held in Wenatchee in March. Time now for your weather forecast for north central Washington. And speaking of that polar plunge this weekend, boy, just wait until you see the high temperatures for this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. We'll get to that in a second. But first, let's take another look outside our weather window, where we saw lots of clouds this morning and then some clearing skies. Blue sky out there for most of the afternoon as we look down from our Wenatchee Heights Sky-Fi camera. And it turned out to be a pretty nice day, although a little bit windy around some of the area. But as I mentioned, this weekend looks great. So as far as weather goes, light to moderate precipitation will continue across the eastern portion of our forecast area into early tonight as a moist weather warm front gets pushed out of the area by a weak but fast moving upper level cold front. Ahead of that cold front and behind the warm front, that's where we did see some very windy conditions at times this afternoon around parts of the area, with gusts reported as high as 25 miles an hour. By this weekend, we can expect some beautiful winter weather conditions with mostly sunny skies on Saturday with highs near 50, and by Super Bowl Sunday, increasing clouds and mild high temperatures into the lower 50s. An upper level ridge of high pressure will remain in control of our weather through next week, with partly to mostly sunny skies and unseasonably warm, with high temperatures staying around 10 degrees warmer than normal, with high temperatures expected in the lower 50s. Let's take a look at that forecast now, and tonight we'll drop down to a very mild 37 degrees, and look at that Saturday, sunshine and 49, 51 on Super Bowl Sunday, a few raindrops on our forecast for Sunday, a 20% chance for mainly scattered showers on Super Bowl. Monday back to the sunshine and 51, and then Tuesday through Thursday will stay in the upper 40s and lower 50s, with lows predominantly in the upper 30s. Wenatchee Valley College completed its construction of the Jack and Edna McGuire Student Recreation Center in September of last year. We leave you tonight with drone fly-through video of the new center, showing off the new sport courts and exercise facility. Beautiful. And if you have a video of the day you'd like to see on the NCW Life Evening News, message us on our Facebook page at the NCW Life channel. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel Monday morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with your host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We got news, we got sports, we got weather, we got obscure holiday today in history and birthdays. Those actresses from the 70s that I had a huge crush on: Lindsay Wagner, Jane Russell, Meryl Streep, Barbara Bush. Wanted to wish her a happy birthday. It gave me an excuse to throw her picture up on my show. Exclusive distributors of Life Water, now available in the shatterproof plastic bottle.
Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, mornings at 7 o'clock on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm candidate Bryn Sherrill, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.